Hey there everybody, welcome to the next lesson. Today we're going to be checking out the width tool. We're still working on illustrations so we can take advantage of it throughout the rest of the course to explain the tools that we have left. In this case, there's a tool that is ideal for people who don't have a tablet because it can generate the pressure we were talking about at the beginning when we were talking about the brush, about using it artificially. I'm going to change the tone of the layer so you can see the path that the tool leaves us when we work with it. If you look carefully, there's a small control. I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can see it a bit better. There's a small controller where we can see the part of the stroke that is going to be bigger or smaller. For example, I'm going to make the corners bigger. And the previewer is going to show us what the stroke's going to look like. Okay, so I've made it as exaggerated as I could so that you could see the change that our illustration is going to have when we use this tool. It's something we have, if we abuse it, it can generate a pretty bad aesthetic. It can look pretty terrible. Obviously, this can't be very premeditated, but if we treat it with care, we can make it more visually pleasing, and it stands out when we want to present an illustration in which we want to make the stroke in particular stand out. So it looks just like, not manual, but, it doesn't look as digital. Okay? It looks a bit thicker, a bit nicer. As you're stretching, you can make the line thinner. You can make it bigger, and shrinking it makes it smaller. I'm going to apply it to the rest of the drawing. I use it in two ways. Either reducing the size at the ends of the lines, okay? Or by making them bigger. I want to say that the final lines, the end lines, are smaller than the ones in the center and vice versa. Just like I'm doing now. If you're not happy with this, you can just work on the rest of the lines as it can be affected with the use of this tool. Okay, so this way, little by little, the areas we want to make finer, we have to shrink them, and the ones we want to make bigger, we just have to stretch them to the outside. So just like stretch them outwards. You can take some references while drawing with this type of line if you're not used to it by varying the pressure. It's a really useful tool for those who don't have a tablet because the simulation is really quite good and natural. I'm going to continue doing this throughout the rest of the line, and I'm going to put in a ruler again in the middle of our image so that you can see the changes a bit better. So for this, to make this a bit more obvious, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the right part of the dog with no modulation so you can see the modulation I'll be doing in the left side. Okay, this way you can see the change this tool does or makes on a line. As I've said before, it's just a question of making it bigger by stretching it outwards and inwards to make it smaller. You can put controllers wherever you feel is better and move them however you want. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward this part because the process is basically the same in all of the lines. Alright, so as advised, as I said before, the trick is to stretch at the middle and leave the ends fine. So leave them thin, okay? Okay. You can add in as many controllers as you want, okay? That's up to you. You have complete liberty with that. Okay. I'm going to modify a little bit the original so that it fits a bit better with what I want to show you. And this will be the result that I wanted to, I wanted you to see. Half the dog with no change at all, next to the left half that, as you can see, has the new form we've made with artificially generated pressure with the width tool. Personally, I do prefer the left side, but I know that out there are some designers and illustrators work with like a uniform stroke, and it gives like a visually pleasing image, like all the same. It's up to you, whatever you want. I'm going to explain in summary what we've just worked on using this stroke that I'm using the pen for. Okay. We'll select it, and as soon as we apply our tool, we're going to see what I did before in the dog's face. All right, so let's select the tool, and let's make the right part of the stroke bigger. To make it bigger, remember to stretch it. And to make it smaller, remember to bring it back into the inside, all right, with the controller we just created. We're left with a result quite similar to what a brush would look like. In my opinion, it does look pretty elegant this way, and it's a resource that we can use in a lot of drawings where it would make, without a doubt, a noticeable difference. I'm going to make a second example with another line made with a pen up here, but I'm going to use the controllers of the tool a little differently. In this case, I'm going to start from the center. I'm going to make it much finer, and the ends are going to be much wider. Okay, so we can see that the line can vary with the activated window above. And well, this will be the result. I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Bye!